Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer, and today I'm gamesplaining Bremerhaven. In the game of Bremerhaven, you are trying to build up your harbour to be the most prestigious harbour out of all the harbours in the land, or at least in Bremerhaven. Your prestige is marked by this star. When you get some prestige, which you'll notice is in the top right hand corner of many of the cards that will come into your harbour. When you get those cards into your harbour, that will push your prestige up. Once those cards leave your harbour, your prestige stays the same, simply because it's prestige. The final score is wherever your prestige is multiplied by however much money you have. So at the moment, if this harbour had 4 prestige and there are 4 money, his final score is 16. So in order for you to do well at this game, you're going to need to both build up your prestige and build up your money. There's no point in building your prestige to 25 if you have no money to go along with it, because 25 times 0 is still 0. There looks like there's a lot going on with this game, so let's run through it real quick. The way this game is played is with these cards. So you notice where numbers 1 through 5, everyone has an identical hand. What this hand means is a bidding system. So you will put a card face down in a space, and at the end of the round, once everyone's played all 5 of their cards, whoever has the highest amount bid on each thing will get the thing. If 2 or more players have bid the exact same amount on a space, it comes back to this track just here. The person who is at the top of that track will break the tie, or if they're not involved in it, obviously the next person down. Whoever has the highest rank, that is a ranking track. So let's run through what each of the spots does. First up, this spot here can be taken by as many players as they like and with as many cards as you like. For every card you have in this spot at the end of the round, so once they're revealed, you'll get 1 extra money. This spot is bidding on the card. For example, red wins this, of course he's the only person who's bid on it. He'll get the top card. That doesn't go straight onto the board. This is actually a building that will go into your harbour. It doesn't go straight onto your board. It goes off to the side. What you need to wait for is for that one. Once you have bid on this is the area where you build. As many people as likes can build. Let's say that's the bid. Red has won that. So red gets to build something for free. What you're building is either, if you have a card sitting off to the side, you can have as many of these cards sitting off to the side as you like. You can build that onto your harbour. What does that do? All the writing's on the bottom, so each of these cards has writing on the bottom. If you're still unsure, there's writing on the back of that card to help you out as well. Once that is on your harbour, you will get the ongoing benefits of that particular card. So every round that you're able to use that, you'll be able to use it. Other things that you're able to do is you can spend money to build a bollard. So it will cost you 1 money for the first bollard, 2 money for the second bollard, or 3 for the third, or if you're on either of the outside ones. Or you can spend 1 money to remove that one, or 2 money to remove that line of building space, so it opens up your harbour board to be able to put more stuff into it. The other thing that is able to happen right now, the blue player can spend 3 money, so the difference between their card and the card that won, they can spend 3 money to do any of those actions also. Once that's happened with everyone who's bid on that space, everyone is then able to build again. The cost of building is the highest figure, so each of them would have to spend 4 money to build something else, plus obviously the money if it is included in the bollard or in the cover card on the loading dock. So in essence, if you have enough money, you can actually build twice on that space. Anyone who doesn't bid on that space cannot build at all. The next one along allows you to upgrade your hand of cards. So before I showed you a hand of cards had a 1 through 5 in it, these cards also exist. So what you're able to do is whoever wins that space can get the next card, the lowest card in that pile, which is 5. That will come into their hand at the end of the round. So once everything has been paid for and everything has happened, you will then reduce your hand down to 5 by taking the number 1 out. By doing that, you are making your hand worth more. Just like with the building tile, anyone else who bids on this space can spend the money that is the difference between their card and the highest card. So in this case, blue would have to spend 3 money to do the exact same action. The next one along whoever wins the space is able to go through the deck and put whatever card they like on top. What this is doing is telling you the value of selling the goods. So at the moment it's 3 money for people, 4 money for the brown boxes, 1 money for the green box, and 2 money for the, I believe it's oil. If there's no one bid on this space, all that happens now is that card comes off and the price of stuff changes anyway. And the final spot along the city board allows the player with the who has bid the most to move themselves. So if that's what it looks like, red would be able to move himself up 1 over blue, becoming the highest rank, and therefore now also pulling in the money. So this is when you actually get the money in. This spot is where we re-establish the ranks. So if there's more than 2 players playing, they'll obviously fill up down these spots. You can move any players. So let's imagine we had another 2 players. If I was, say, the yellow player and I was the captain, I don't need to move myself, but I might swap those 2. If this is where they are, you can only swap or move 1 person up 1 rank. So that would move up there, whoever was in here would move down to the 1. Then take the income as is shown next to the office of where the colour is. Next up we come to this board. This is the ship board. So you're bidding on the ships. The number of cards showing is equal to the number of people who are playing the game. So at the moment there's only 2 people set up, so we only have 2 ship cards out. This player is the only one who's bid on this one, for example, or whoever has the highest vote over. We only took a 2 on that. This ship will then come into the harbour. Notice there are a couple of markings on these ship cards. The first one to notice is this one. The picture of 1 bollard means that you need a bollard on each side of the harbour space. So that means this one can park here because there's 1 bollard on each side. He can't park here because there's no bollards at the top. He actually needs the bollard on either side of the ship. So assuming there's a bollard and a space in the harbour, that boat will come into the harbour and will stay there for 4 rounds, including this round. I'll talk about that in a second. It will upgrade the harbour by 2 prestige points, which is shown by this marker. And this boat also holds 2 people on it, which will need to get sent out on the other cards, which I'm about to get to. So when that moves into a harbour, you place it into a harbour space that can hold it. You then place the goods as shown on the bottom of the harbour card onto the card itself. Some of the cards have this marking, which means that any goods will come in on that, and any goods can then be sent out on the next lot of cards I'm about to get to. It will be up to you to choose what type of goods arrive there. So put the goods onto it, and that's the type of goods that will arrive. Then we come across to the land board. Once again, it comes down to whoever has bid the most. So red has bid the most on that one, and he would take that. That will go into the next open dock, which is this one. These 2 are available to park goods in, but you can't send things from ships up into them until you've released those 2 spaces. Once you take in any cards from either of those 2 boards, you'll notice there's a little clock marking in the top left corner. You'll need to put the appropriate number of clocks on top of that because they're on schedule also. Then we come down to the individual action phase, which is shown along the bottom. So here, any of these buildings that have a little gear icon on them will produce at this stage. Then you can move things around. So the way we move things around, we can't move straight from ship to sending out. We must first move through the dock. So one of these can move there, the other one can move there. You'll notice that there's only able to be 1 of each in each space. The only thing that you can have 2 of in any one space is the brown boxes. So these ones. On the next turn around, during this phase, this area of the phase, you'll be able to move one of those tokens up onto the card. We then have a look at what the prestige value is. So at the moment, we've got a building that's giving 2 prestige. We've got a ship that's giving 2. So the total is 4. So this will get moved to 4. If it's already at 4 or above, it doesn't move at all. Then we remove clocks. Notice we are now removing a clock. So removing a round from every card that's on the board, including cards that were just put there this turn. Once all that's been done, we go to a cleanup phase. So the first thing we do is we go up to this deck. So at the moment, we are going to do whatever it says on this side. There's nothing on this side in the first round, but there will be very shortly. We then move our ship along the number that's written just here, which is 1 in this case. So move that little ship across 1. That then moves to the other side. There's a whole bunch of writing in this. That will happen at this stage next round. So when we finish the next round, we'll do that. Then we'll move our ship along too, and then this one will flip over to show us what is going to happen next. We then refill the game board. So if no one purchased that card would go onto the bottom. It did get purchased and built, so I'm not too worried about this at the moment. All these cards go back to their owners, by the way. This then moves along to, we're playing with 2 players, so to spot 2, and a new one comes out. Because this one's on spot 2, it goes away and 2 new ones come out, showing what is available for the next round. All of that can happen pretty quickly, and it's just the cleanup phase. That keeps going until the ship hits the end of that board. Once the ship gets to the end of that board, we finish the round we're on. We have one more chance to move things off our dock into any of the contract cards that are left up, not yet filled up. They will then go. The other thing to notice is that with most of the contract cards, there's a red number and a green number. This is talking about money. If you send this off, so it gets to the end of the time limit, and you haven't fulfilled everything that's looking for, you lose that money. If you send with 1, you'll lose that money, but you'll gain the money for what you're sending. If, however, you send with both the things or all the things that are on the bottom of that contract card, you'll get the money in the green. In the later game, that is also talking about prestige points. I believe that is everything for Bremerhaven. I hope that this helps you get Bremerhaven to the table. I hope that this helps you understand what you're doing with this game. If you have any games that you'd like to be Gamesplaying, please shoot me an email at thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram or Twitter at thegamesplainer to keep up to date with the games that I'm playing. Subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games that I'm gamesplaining. And until next time, enjoy gaming.